I think St Albans is a very outgoing church. It's a church that sees that its role is to serve its community, and that's been a focus for many, many, many years. It's got a history of involvement at council and community board level for many years, and I think that its history has actually impacted the way that it acts in the community. Neighbourhood Trust was set up about 12 years ago now to serve the community better, and we felt that if the church actually had an organisation part of it that was focused on the community, we could do that a lot better.
We've been affected by the earthquake hugely, the same as every other church across the city. Our buildings have survived reasonably okay, and we were just about to move into a new extension that we've been building on. We're actually sitting in a part of it. And when the earthquake happened, we took all the boards down and just moved in and started using it, and it has really become a community centre. People just arrived here. We had actually hundreds of people, not only from our own church, but students, locals, whomever.
We did over 1,000 meals in those first few weeks that went out into the community. We already had built up relationships with other trusts and agencies in the area, so we could work out what we needed to do that they weren't doing. We opened our doors to people every day for a free lunch, as well as counselling. We had a drop-in from 10 till 2 every day with a trained grief counsellor available for them.
To a degree, it can't be sustained at that sort of level, and I mean, you can probably see it with me, just with the emotional energy, whatever, that I struggle with. But it's there in everybody to a degree, and so we really do need the wider body of Christ to continue to come into the city. We need the resources of people, ideas, financial help, all sorts of different ways.
Sustainability is always an issue for us. There's no point in setting something up and then it falling over because you've exhausted your resources, you've exhausted your volunteer base, you've done too much actually. We're not here to just fill a need, we're actually here to enable people to deal with it themselves. We're there to give them an oasis in the week and to enable them to actually cope with where they're at.
Has it taken a toll personally?
You just really realise how much you need to look at your life as a whole, and that one, definitely leaning into God, not trying to do things in your own strength, but two, that you actually have to take care of yourself as well. You have to have days off, you have to have withdrawal time, you have to be able to laugh and have some fun. And that your fitness has to be at a really good peak. You have to eat well, and they're often all the things that go by the by when you're under stress.
You run on adrenaline for weeks and weeks, and that adrenaline is actually using the energy of the future, and there's no way of making that up quickly. After Cyclone Katrina in the US hit, 5 years later, most leaders are gone. And that's across the board, civic, spiritual, and some have died simply because their self-care has been just not happening, and many others have just become despondent, it's too hard, and they've left. And so we've realised that we have to actually put some very deliberate strategies in place for leaders and everybody, that we come through this and we still have the passion and the viv that we're supposed to have at our age. We're still kids.
Actually, what I'm really excited about is that we have a kitchen running, and most days only one person in that kitchen is from St Albans Baptist and Neighbourhood Trust. Most of them are community people who have come here either to have meals or they've been door knocked and they've said, so how can I help? And now they're working in the kitchen, they are taking stuff out to people, they are doing a lot of work, and I love that. I think that sustainability that we talked about before, that sustainability happens when the community has ownership of what you're doing. They're happy to clean up and do vacuuming and do the dishes because it's their place now.